Hey guys, welcome to Piano Challenge number 35. Today we're going to work on rhythm and comping. To get all the sheet music and the backing track for today's session, just go back to pianowithwillie.com/challenge and you can get all of that for free. Just going to put your name and email address in and you can get all of that for free. All right, so let me play first of all what we're going to do. I'm going to play along with the backing track and then we'll break it down. Here we go. So we're going to work on this comping pattern just going between a C7 and an F7 chord. So the first thing we start with is we start with rhythm, all right? Now, before we even start with rhythm, let's talk about the two different ways in which we can approach rhythm. So now at the very top here, you see like there's this D, ba, D, like that kind of stuff, the vocalization, all right? So there's a vocalization method. Or at the bottom here, you can see the 1 and 2 and 3, and that's what I would call the subdivision method. Both methods are fine, and you can use both methods, but certain methods work better in certain circumstances, okay? When you're dealing with mostly quarter notes and eighth notes, and it's in a swing rhythm, the vocalization method works much, much better than the 1 and 2N, all right? But when you're dealing with more complicated rhythms like 16th notes, or other like straight rhythms, then a lot of times the 1 and 2N method, the subdivision method, works better. All right, so let's take a look at that vocalization approach at the top. I'm just going to play the note C, and I'm going to play the rhythm along. Why don't I use the note B? In fact, I'll use that B. It's exactly what's written. So it's D ba ba da, D ba da ba da, D ba ba da, D ba da. Ba da. Now the one thing you'll notice is that this ba, it's like kind of like, how do you know how long you're supposed to hold that out? Because you don't say something here on that downbeat. So let's take a look at the subdivision method using the 1 and 2. And this would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Right? Now a lot of times the subdivision method makes players' rhythms sound a little bit more straight and stiff, whereas the vocalization approach, D ba ba da, D ba da ba da, right, feels a little bit more swung and a little bit more natural. Okay, now all of the rhythm stuff, I would take a look at my mastering rhythms and rhythm basics lessons at the Piano with Willie site. That whole vocalization approach is all laid out over many lessons with many different examples and videos, so you could learn all of that. All right, now comping. First of all, what is comping? So a basic example, a basic definition, I should say, and of course I'm always going to have, like, whenever I put videos online, I always have like people, well, that's not quite accurate, Okay, so the basic definition of comping is adding rhythm to chords, okay? So you're adding rhythm to chords and you are accompanying, right? So comping, accompanying. So you are accompanying either yourself while improvising maybe in your right hand, right? So like... Right, so you see I'm still comping down here in the left hand while I'm improvising in the right hand. Or in a situation like this where I have like the two-handed comping, I might be comping behind a soloist or a vocalist or something like that, okay? So typically comping means that we're putting rhythm to chords and trying to, a lot of times I just leave it at that, putting rhythm to chords, all right? So rather than just playing the chord, right, just like, 2 beats a measure or 2 beats per chord or whatever. Rather than doing that and holding them out, we're adding some more rhythm to the chords. Now, don't get confused and think that you have to be doing it like... Okay, because that wouldn't be a good accompaniment either, right? So think about what it means to accompany someone, right? You don't want to like inundate them with, hey, how you doing? You don't want to inundate them with conversation. It's a give and it's a take, right? Everything is about give and take. It's about a conversation, right? So here, now you might be wondering, hey, Willie, how'd you make these chords? All right, these are chord voicings, all right? I'm not going to go into the real details of them right now, all right? You could take a look at the piano chords lessons at the Piano with Willie site, and all of these voicings are all laid out for you so you can understand how they're all made. Basically, it's built on a fourth here. This is built on a 9, so you get your 9, 5, and root. And then this is built on the 13, so you get 13, 9, and 5. And then down here I have my guide tones. Again, just do a search on the Piano with Willie site for the word guide tones, and then a bunch of lessons will come up about that. Basically, guide tones are your 3rd and your 7th of your chord. Okay, so 3 and 7 of the chordal built on the 9th, 3 and 7th of the chordal built on the 13th. So that's your basic C7 and F7 chord voicing. Okay, now one thing that I didn't put in here is any articulation. I want you to listen to the articulation and listen to the dynamics. So. Now, you'll notice that you might say, hey, wait a second, Willie, you didn't play that second note as a full quarter note. No, I didn't play it as a full quarter note. I kind of played it more as like a staccato or maybe a little bit marked. Right, so I'm not playing them the full value. Sometimes I might play them a little bit more staccato. Now, I try and shy away from sometimes putting in staccato markings because I don't want students to do this. You know, like really too short. It's a kind of like a fine little gray area in terms of like how short or how long. You can kind of play with that, and I suggest that you kind of play around with that. So like. So you see I can make it a little stickier. I'm like kind of sticking on those chords a little bit more, all right? So I have this play along track, so let's play along with the play along track. What I'd suggest you do is if you want and you can't get, you know, the left hand switching, just do the right hand. It's the same notes in the right hand, right? So the only thing that's going on is the left hand is switching. Also in the left hand, if you want to play 1 and 3 and then 1 and 4, that would be fine as well, okay? So let's play this. So, Willie, do I have to keep playing this same rhythm over and over again? Of course not, all right? You can come up with your own rhythms, and I suggest that you come up with your own rhythms, all right? This is just merely one example, all right? So now that you have this play-along track going from C to F, now play around with it. Don't change the voicing. Don't change the progression. Just change the rhythm of the chords, okay? So let's do it again. This time, we're going to do different rhythms to the chords. Let's try holding them out this time. See, I can hold them out, and I can also do a little anticipation, right? So, on the beat, anticipate it, anticipate it. Try doing 4 to the floor, just like. Notice also how I'm not lifting up my hands, right? I'm not having to do this. I'm using my fingers, I'm grabbing, using that grab technique. If you haven't taken a look at my pain, tension, and technique lesson at the Piano with Willie site, really good lesson for understanding that grab technique. Down by a half step, right? I can kind of play around with that chord voicing, move all the notes down by a half step, all right? So I can do that kind of like that side shifting as well. So good comping, there's really no real definition of what good comping is. Like anything else when it comes to art, it's very, very subjective, okay? Now, there are some guidelines that I would say make someone a good comp a good comper or not, all right? Good at comping at their instrument or not. Number one is, do they know how to support the soloist, right? So meaning, are they listening to the soloist? If they're not listening to the soloist, then they're not good at comping, okay? Number two, do they know their chord voicings? So when they're going to play a C7, do they actually know how to play a C7, or is it like, they're like, and then do they know something a little bit more interesting than just plain old block chords? Do they know many different ways of different ways of playing the same type of chord? So rather than just one way of playing a C7 chord, do they know multiple ways? How are they at dynamics and articulation, right? And then, of course, like I was saying before, rhythm. I mean, do they have some good rhythms? Do the rhythms feel good? Are they in time? Are they pushing too much? Or are they laying back too much? Because you want to play around with that as well. Sometimes you lay back, sometimes you push a little bit, right? A good comper also knows how to kind of feed the soloist, especially if you find that the soloist is kind of losing ideas, and you might and then the soloist can kind of pick up on that, and they can kind of pick up on that and then start to, have some new ideas. So when you're comping at the instrument, you're also feeding the soloist with some ideas, okay? So that might be something like, so you see like this bell tone I got going on up there? I get boom, ba, ba, da. That feeds the soloist like, oh yeah, I kind of like that idea, and they can take that and run with it. And you probably hear that or have heard that a lot in recordings where, soloist is soloing, and then they have an idea, and then the piano player kind of cops that idea, kind of copies it in their comping, or vice versa. The piano player had an idea, and then the soloist kind of picked up on that idea and ran with it as well, right? So again, it's that conversation, it's that back and forth. So hopefully you got some ideas here on comping. This is obviously just scratching the surface. If you want to dive deeper into this, I got a bunch of lessons on comping and left-hand accompaniment techniques back at the Piano with Willie site. And like I said, remember, go on back to Piano with Willie and go to pianowithwillie.com/challenge, or follow the link at the bottom of this video, and then get all of the sheet music and stuff for free. It's absolutely free. I mean, yes, I am going to ask for your email address, and yes, I am going to send you email, and yes, you can easily unsubscribe from that email list by clicking the link at the bottom of any email, and you're taken off the list and you won't get any more email. But it would behoove you to download the music, the backing tracks, because if you're serious about learning the instrument and really learning how to comp and play jazz and all of that good stuff, improvise, then the backing tracks and stuff that you have, you got nothing to lose. Okay? So anyway, I hope I'll see you at the site and in the lessons. I'll talk to you soon.